Tenacious Net play. We're going to tell you the story behind the scenes before we explain about the technique of how to hit the volley. Remember, how to get to the net is 99% of it. Hitting the volley is the other percent. So we're going to start telling you about the story, the transition of building the point in order to come in. Then we'll close it out by the techniques of the volley. Okay? Let's get started.
Welcome to Nick Bollettieri's Tenacious Net Play. Tenacious Net Play offers a complete exploration of the attacking game, leaving you with powerful insight, clear strategic objectives, and techniques for making your skills tenacious. You will learn how to master the art of applying pressure and closing points. We'll show you how to set the stage for the point's end so that the odds of winning are always in your favor. The Tenacious Net player wins by progressively breaking down the opponent over the course of a match, applying constant pressure, forcing the opponent to either come up with the goods or go down trying. For you to become tenacious, you must overcome any fears you might have and build positive experiences through practice and match play. If you apply what you learn and stick to it, eventually you will love the feeling of being tenacious at net.
When you get a defensive ball, there should be one thing on your mind. I'm going to attack the net. The future is going to have all-around players. More players are going to spend more time at the net than before. Without the complete game in the 2000s, I believe a student will be void in their game to stay up with the competition to reach their ability level, or the ability level of where the game is going to. So we're spending a lot more time on the volleys.
We begin our study of Tenacious Net Play looking at the objectives behind the attacking style of play. It is important for you to understand the thought process and decision-making involved in setting the stage to end points. Once we've established our objectives and know what we are trying to accomplish on each point, we can put into better perspective how the various strokes and skills must function.
In order to really become competitive and quite good at the net, you have to make up your mind that you are going to close in. Many times you're so thrilled with the shot or quite frightened that you're caught around the tee or a little bit in front of the tee that you don't know what to do. That's when they get you. Be positive, make the commitment, and follow through with it.
Your success or failure as an attacking player rests heavily on the quality of your game plan and your ability to execute. What is a game plan? A game plan establishes an objective for every shot, organizing your skills into shot patterns and combinations so that you can build points towards a desired outcome. It is your plan of attack which highlights your strengths, protects your weaknesses, and is able to adjust to court surfaces, playing conditions, and opponents. The attacking player's game plan sends the message loud and clear to the opponent. I will capitalize on every opportunity to attack the net.
You must do this in practice. Every single shot you do, every thought process you do in practice should be geared towards, I'm going to take advantage of the first opportunity. I'm going to pick up the ball earlier. I'm going to be in position earlier, but I'm not going to let you off the hook. It goes back to practicing with a purpose.
Why do you need a game plan? Well, if you were so good that you could hit winners on every shot, you wouldn't need a game plan. Your only strategy would be to keep hitting winners. Though we never intend to, unfortunately it's all too common that in match play we make errors. If you don't learn to manage your errors, you'll end up beating yourself. Built on the understanding of percentage shot patterns and a focus on the right objectives for ending points, a game plan is the structure of shot combinations used to end points. Rather than always relying on using one unbelievable shot to win points, you must put your trust in combining 2 or 3 good shots together to finish your points. Your game plan must be something you can do, a workable plan that is effective even when you're not playing your best. If you are disciplined to your game plan and trust the effectiveness of the patterns and combinations, you'll find yourself under a lot less pressure, not having to make split-second decisions for every shot.
When I go to tournaments or I watch a lot of amateurs play, I sort of look at the attitude and the intensity of the approach shots. Some of them get up there and say, I'm just going to knock the beans out of the ball, and that counter-puncher back there, Andre Agassi, just saying, hey, the harder you hit the ball to me, the quicker it's going to reach me, and I'm going to flat out right catch you right at your feet. So, slow down a second. There has to be a variation of spin. Overspin, a little underspin, sometimes driving, sometimes even slowing down the approach shot, enabling you to get in a little closer to the net. So don't think that tenacious net play comes from a thundering approach shot. It comes from a combination of shots that keep the counter puncher thinking and confused.
Point structure shows us the 4 stages of how points are built from start to finish. Your stroke inventory consists of the tools you have to carry out your plan. You can see that the objectives behind your serve and return are to get the point started. Stage 2 is the setting up of the point through the ground stroke rally, where you're looking to create opportunities to attack. You progress to stage 3 when opportunity has been created and you begin a closing combination of shots, setting the stage for the point's end. Stage 4 is the back end of your shot combinations that finish the point. Obviously, not all points will progress through all 4 stages. For example, to serve and volley, your serve is being used as an approach shot, so essentially you go from stage 1 to stages 3 and 4, eliminating the rally. Your competitive mentality should have you positioned and prepared to attack the net the first opportunity you see, but you must be willing to build your opportunities as many shots as it takes. You have to be disciplined enough to avoid the temptations that can sidetrack your game plan. If you let yourself slip into the pressured mentality of trying to end the point with every swing of the racket, you'll quickly find yourself swimming in unforced errors.
Power is only one of the ingredients of the formula. You want to attack with intelligence. Power, placement, variations of spin, that's what it's all about, is learning how to attack and mixing it up, because if you mix it up, the opponent doesn't know what you're going to do.
We continue our pursuit of the tenacious mentality, looking at point outcomes and the story behind statistics. If you were to chart match statistics, the end of the point would fall into one of 3 categories: winners, forced errors, and unforced errors. A winner occurs when you successfully execute a shot that goes untouched by the opponent to end the point. A forced error occurs when your shot forces the opponent to execute without having time to set up mentally or physically, and they make an error. An unforced error occurs when your opponent has time to set up mentally and physically for the shot, and they make an error. To learn more of how your shot selection strategy relates to the point-ending outcomes, consider the following scenario. With a penetrating serve, you have created an opportunity ball in the midcourt. Will you A, go for the outright winner on the next shot, B, get into a rally and wait for the opponent to make an error, or C, approach with the intent of forcing the opponent as you position at net? Let's examine option A, go for the outright winner. Even an easy sitter can be easy to miss when you think to yourself, go for the winner, and the pressure's on. To put it on the line under tough circumstances and come up with the big winner is certainly a glorious moment for any player. There's no greater feeling, except for winning the match itself. But when you hit with the intent of creating an outright winner, you put added pressure on yourself, and often you try to make the shot better than it needed to be, resulting in an error. In the final match statistics, if the same short ball opportunity were to occur 100 times, would you be satisfied with 35 of those glorious winners? Maybe so, but before you answer, you have to ask yourself the question, what happened on the other 65 points? Well, you made unforced errors on 55 of those points. In the big picture, your short ball decision to go for it is now costing you far more points than you're winning. Closing winners can be just as rewarding, and going home with the trophy will feel even better when you focus on creating winners at net as the back end of a combination. Take the pressure off yourself and build points.
When you get that defensive ball, do not go for a winner on that particular shot. It's part of a series of shots which start with controlling the center of the court, the approach shot, the first volley, move in further, the put-away volley. It's a combination of shots.
We continue our short ball scenario looking at option B. Get into a rally and wait for the opponent to make an error. If you repeatedly pass on blatant opportunities to attack, choosing to stay back and rally, you're actually doing your opponent a favor. In no time at all, your opponent will be rallying comfortably with no pressure of having to keep the ball deep. That's when consistent depth on the shots gets easiest to achieve. Secondly, waiting for errors and playing it safe only works some of the time, and that's when the opponent is willing to give you the match on errors. Unless you learn to force the action, you'll lose to players who can.
Certainly, you want to build the points, but you have one thought in mind. Don't stay back there too long. Your opportunities to attack will diminish. Attack right away, or even attack before you're supposed to come in. The attacker must say, hey, if they have to head up and they're off the court in that position, I'm going to go in sometimes and volley to the open court. So when you see that girl or boy hitting up on a volley and you're about in this position, you say, heck with it. I'm going to go in, because for them to get the ball over the net, they have to lift it. And then you're in position to put it away. Stefan Edberg was fantastic in creating this, the same as Boris Becker. And once you get to that net, there's no longer keeping the play. A good forcing first volley from within the tee, and close in, baby, close in and end the point.
That takes us to our final option C. Approach with the intent of forcing the opponent as you position at net. Rather than turning every short ball opportunity into an attempted winner, we choose to approach with the intent to force. Your intent to force means in your own mind, you're allowing for margin of error, not requiring perfection on your shot. This allows you to maintain a much higher percentage of approach shots in play, reducing your unforced errors. By selecting option C, you will have set the stage for the following possibilities. You will force the opponent to A. Come up with a big winner, B. Break down with a forced error, or C. Give you a volley or overhead opportunity to end the point. The odds tell us when you can effectively force on the approach, the frequency of winners by the opponent will be far offset by the number of forced errors they commit, in addition to the put-away winners you will have at net. You can't allow yourself to lose your tenacious edge and get discouraged over the occasional errors you make in setting up the point. Just remember, if you stayed within your game plan, you were at least going for the right shot. And more importantly, respect the fact that if your opponent is at all worthy, they will make their share of spectacular winners that you're challenging them to have to hit. So when you see those passing shots go by just out of reach, remember you forced them to have to make the shot. And if you had a chance to do it all over again, you'd do it the same way, because the odds say you'll come out ahead in the final outcome.
No matter how good you are, there are some counter punches that are just licking their chops. I mean, you take Andre Agassi, he says, bring you on, baby. I want you to come to the net. Please don't become defeated because a counterpuncher is able to pass you time and time again. You got to stick in there. Remember, he may be having a field day or she may be having a field day. That particular day, you may have driven right into a buzzsaw. Maintain your plan. I'm going to be coming in. What you might do is perhaps change and don't come in as often, or add a little variation to the shot to throw off that great counterpuncher and get the counterpuncher to think a little bit of what type of shot you're going to hit.